All right, friends. Coach Morton's back for a quick video about his chess progress and also a new analysis tool he'll be using. It's been a while. This video is more so from one of my chess students. They know who they are, but I want to make sure I record this on my YouTube channel so that way you guys don't think I'm dead. uh, and for the kids who subscribe to my YouTube channel, what's up? Today, guys, we show you what I've been up to essentially, and it's not just this either. So I've been doing a lot of chess coaching in the last few years, and I'm trying to learn new techniques to teach and help students improve in their chess. And I came across this tool recently. It's not my idea. I've been researching different techniques and tools to analyze your games, and I found this set of questions in this process from this person right here. So I want to give this person a shout because A, it's not my idea, and B, I am going to try and get some chess coaching myself because I do think that as a teacher and as a chess coach, it's important to get new ideas from other people, for lack of a better word. So here's a person. I found him on a chess.com coach of the month page. It listed all the chess coaches who got that award. And so this guy right here, Diego, you pronounce his last name. He's a cool guy. I actually talked to him on Zoom call before, and he's pretty legit. Um, this year, I am going to be thinking about doing some kind of extra training myself, going to a professional. I'm not saying he's the best person for that, but he is a good source. So I'm not trying to give him a plug other than I got this idea from him. I do think he's a cool guy, and whatnot too. So just a small plug-in. Let me head over here real quick. So bye, Diego. Um, we're gonna be playing some chess online today, and I want to make a promise to myself that I'm only gonna be playing one game because I value the analysis tool I'm using right now, which is this right here again. Basically, using Diego's or Coach Diego's technique, he emphasizes, and I agree, that as you're playing chess, it's really important to be mindful about what you're thinking in critical moments, your thought process, in order to diagnose a real problem. A lot of players, when they either lose or even if they have a winning position, they need to take a second to think about, well, what actually happened in that exact moment when you're playing. And so right here is a technique or a protocol I'm using in order to make that more clear. Basically, what I'm doing is in the first column, I'm going to list out the game number, the date, my opponent, and myself, and my current rating, and of course, the link to now sport. The second most important section is going to be moments of uncertainty. What that means is, as I'm playing, I'm thinking about what were some key moments where I wasn't sure what to play and that I could check for my accuracy afterwards. Of course, during a game, you can't have the computer analysis on, but as you're playing, you should be thinking to yourself, am I winning here? And if you're not sure, or if you spend a lot of time thinking about your move or your plan or whatever, then those are the moments you want to go back and review because those are your areas of most growth. In chess is a time game, and you don't have time to sit there for hours thinking about your move. If you're thinking that long, then there must be something that's slowing down your thought process. And that's why it's so important to find out what that is. Of course, you got to write down your thoughts right here. It's not scientific. You can write down basically what you want, but you want to make it as actionable and chess related as possible. Next, was the position objectively good for you or not? And I say objectively because oftentimes when we lose, we could be our own worst enemy. If someone were to analyze your game and give you a score, would it give you a score like good, really bad, so on and so forth? And then it's really important to check your thoughts with the actual computer. People nowadays who play chess, they use the computer as a crutch more than as a tool. You're not gonna get better at chess if you just analyze your whole game on the computer because A, you don't play as a computer, and B, you're not testing your knowledge. What that means is to become better, you have to be willing to say, hey, I'm not sure if what should I play right here, but I'll check later. And in those moments, when you check later, you can either confirm or debunk your thought process. And that's the whole point, which is if you're playing the exact same thing over and over again, not changing, you have no hope of getting better. So it's really important when you do this analysis to be honest, objectively, so that way you can actually find what's wrong and fix that thing really quickly, of course. And then after you've done that analysis, it's really important to go back and think to yourself, in that game, with this new knowledge, can I actually win? And definitely practicing those positions. Like later on, I'm going to practice these positions right here. I might do it tomorrow actually, because I got to do some practice myself. Because it's really important not just to, because you, in chess is all about pattern recognition and uh, choosing the best and most efficient plan possible. So being able to recognize, hey, I played this before, I know what to do, will save you some time and a lot of heartache. Of course, if I had a coach, they'll put their thoughts right here. And then, how has experience better you as a person, as a chess player? For myself, I'm very type A, and I want to get to a point where I can lose gracefully and still learn something from the experience. So, my goal this session is just to play one round, and that's it. If I lose, I lose. If I win, I win. Because my biggest problem is I tend to want to play chess in order to reach a certain rating. And I'm not playing chess because, well, I'm not playing chess in that moment because I want to get better. That makes sense. In my 1 second, I'm not sure. Apologize, been talking all day at school. For those who knew me at my old school, my new school is going okay. I don't really care for my new age group. I'll just say I'm not gonna really reveal that right here. But if you're wondering how I'm doing at my new school, if you didn't realize I moved to a different school, then where you been? Where have you been? Right. But if you already knew, it's going all right. I actually would say in a lot of ways I like my old school better than my new school. And it's mainly because I know a lot more of the kids at my old school. It's going to take a lot of years, and I'm not gonna be working at this new school for forever because I do want to get better and eventually do some other things as well. Spoiler alert. But anyway, um, but right now, if you were to ask me which one was better, I would say for the most part, I did like more things about my old school than my new school. Topic for different video, just for those who are wondering. All right, so we are here for chess, folks. So let's go ahead and get started playing. We're doing 10-0 because it's a lot easier to find a game and you gotta play quick. That's why. And it's better than Blitz. I mean, I don't play Blitz because you're not really practicing your thought processes. You're practicing how to play fast, which is not good for your chess. So it's important to get some good practice in. All right, we're back in concentration mode, and let's go. We're a white. E4. I've been doing a lot more practice with my black openings, so I'm a little bit rusty, or not rusty, but I need to spend more time working on my white openings. But we'll see how that goes. All right, knight here. I like to play pawn d3 to avoid any nonsense right here. My opponent plays that move. I wonder if I could play f4 right here just to open the position. They're not really trying to attack me in the center. Let's do it. And that's what I meant, guys, as well too. So it is important to be mindful about how long you spend in chess. All right, so my opponent wants to go here. And let's go castle queen side. Most likely. All right. Um, I want to trade that bishop off ideally. And most likely my opponent might try and take that piece right here. Let's see. this is a key moment. I'm thinking about playing this move over first. I'm not sure because my bishop pins that pawn to the king. So there are situations where that could be a problem. And hmm, this is a good moment to think for a second, I guess. There are situations where this pin and the fact that this bishop has some leverage right here to attack the position can lead to a winning attack here for black if you time it correctly. So I'm trying to think if I castle, they might take. It doesn't really matter to me. Let's get our king safe. Yep, not surprised. That move is interesting. Let's back up. All right, they had this move right here a second ago, but we're gonna play. They might take here, most likely. Yep. Let's go here. Bad habit. You should try visualize what you want to play here without moving the pieces, ideally. Let's go here. And I'm expecting bishop here most likely, but we'll find out, right? Pawn here's a mistake because this is loose and this bishop's still active, so he might be thinking about ways to neutralize that piece. In these kinds of situations, it's not uncommon to bring your rook over and maybe sack for that bishop. If it ever arrives on e6 like this, yep. So this is when it's worth the time to think. I do think I should play rook here. And when the queen goes somewhere, I mean, she only has but so many options, right? She might go here. No, that's not a good move. Maybe here to target this pawn right here, essentially. Actually, she needs to be careful. I have an idea. Queen here, right? It goes back right here. So I'm really tempted to sack the exchange and just say to myself that my bishops are just so powerful that that might be a bit too optimistic. I'll just say I could also take a pawn right here and just say, hey, and just kind of take it slow, essentially. No, taking a pawn opens your opponent up. This is something I want to teach my chess students that just because you can take a pawn doesn't mean you should necessarily. So I have to think about my other candidate moves as well. Is this worth my time? Not really. Is this worth my time? Kind of. They might be thinking about this move as well right here, potentially. So rook takes bishop. Bishop takes the king slides over. Well, slides over, sorry. There's no bishop here to try and attack the queen, the king this way, so I don't think it's really worth um going for that right there, essentially. So I gotta think about a different plan right here. I gotta think quickly as well, too. I should have gave myself more time, but we're not gonna talk about that today, folks. If I take the bishop, I'm admitting that my king will be weak for the rest of the game, and that is a very scary idea, but it's also scary to be down on the clock, of course. So rook takes. I just feel like if I sacrifice the exchange and the king just hides, do I have a follow up? That means can I see myself checkmating the king in some kind of way? I don't have enough pieces around the king. My queen's in the neighborhood, but not really, and the bishops need some more backup right here. Essentially, is what I'm trying to say. If they take me, that's not a problem. So, but I don't want to take them because at least in some counterplay right here. But then again, they don't have a dark square bishop, so if I take here and rook over and I go back to e5, I do tie everything together for the moment, and I do win my pawn back. But I don't think that's a pawn I want to. Let's go here. If they take me, which they did, let's go here. And most likely this most likely if I had to guess. So I got played defensively for a second, but I still have most of my major have all my major pieces on the board. We'll look at that situation again later, and that's what I meant. Like, right, they want to trade some pieces. That makes sense. Um, I think right here I could actually take this pawn right now. I think if they want to trade, now that there's some tension. So rook. Well, it depends on which rook they choose, but I think right here now that there's some pieces off the board, I want to take more pawns and open the center, open the position because my bishop is going to be better suited for that kind of gameplay. If they play either rook to the c5, I just play bishop back to that square. All right, they did that. Cool. And they want to keep trading right here, which is interesting. Blah, 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 blah. Just trying to think right here. This is where in chess it's really hard to like think objectively right here. I think I do want to take right here actually. And of course I want to like not lose my bishop. That'd be tragic. Let's put our bishop somewhere halfway decent here, I guess. Is this a good square? It might get pinned, most likely. So let's no, it'll still go check right here. So let's just think for a second. I wish I could take the pawn right here. Actually, I can't because is there any queen checks that's gonna bother me right here? I don't think so. Because here, if knight takes, I got queen check right here essentially. So right. Yeah, I think that works right here. And I win the piece back with change, despair. So I'm now up a pawn. Fortunately enough, but I'm down on the clock. I wish I could like well, hindsight 2020, right? I wish that I made my decision faster, but that's the thing, in chess, there's no one there to tell you, hey, this is a good attack or not. You have to just trust your intuition. And because I was talking too much, I didn't want to like think too long. That move, I think, loses because my king is really fast. I'm just wondering right here. So takes. Oops, sorry. Takes. I think my pawns are fast enough to like do some damage right here, essentially. Yeah. Let's bring our king closer, though. I should play here first. That was sloppy. You want to make sure in these endgames right here that you restrict the enemy king's mobility as much as you can. All right, so let's gain the opposite. Yep, position. They might go here check, which is fine by me. Yeah, like the sound effects, folks. All right, let's go here. Okay, let's make sure you're keeping the opposition, of course. And I don't care if I lose all these pawns right here. The only thing is making sure I keep one pawn on the board. That's really the main thing right here, of course. All right, let's get our pawns going, sir. That move, I don't care about that much. Let's go here. Most likely he's going to try to play this move next. But here's the thing, though. In chess like this, it's all about tempi. So I play here, they play there, I play there, and they lose. I'm going to play it right now, though. Yep, and two passed pawns is too much, people. Let's push... And they resign. 1940, I was playing against a 1900, so that's not that bad, actually. Yeah. And for those who are watching too, like especially my chess students, yeah, so we all, so right now that I'm done with that game, I feel really relieved that I didn't decide to sack the exchange because sometimes in chess, it's important to check your ego and just go with the solid option. What that means is, even if you feel like there is an attack, it's very human to doubt yourself. And I'm glad I didn't with that rook because if I did sack my rook for the bishop, I would have felt compelled to have found an attack, which wasn't there. The winning idea was just simply take some pawns, pick right moments to trade pieces, and then now it's just easy. Two extra pawns right here. So for my chess students, I would definitely tell them don't be afraid to trade pieces into an endgame because in this situation, as long as you have some pawns, those pawns can clutch you that victory because it's simple. If you try and win the pawns, one pawn will push, the other pawn will get sacrificed, and you will lose this game. Your past pawn's irrelevant right here. You could tell I've been talking all day, guys. All right. So let's do our job, guys. And it's going to look something like this. The good thing about chess.com is you can clearly see where I thought the longest as white here. It's kind of hard to see, but basically, move 17, the gray thing right here means that's the pizza talking right now. I'm sorry. An acid reflux. The gray means that's how long I thought. So 2 minutes and 43 seconds right here. 11 seconds on move 5 with F4. We'll see if that was good or not. And then 24 seconds for rook HE1. 27 seconds, rook takes on E8. And then 37 seconds for queen takes on A7. I think that move's fine. I think that move is fine. So I'm not really worried about that move specifically. And then the rest is kind of self-explanatory. No, well, one mistake, no blunders, which is good to see, of course. All right. So I'll be going back and forth real quick. So let me go back right here. So basically, if I was going to do this from scratch, and this is where the boring part comes in. So if you guys don't want to watch this, well, too bad, essentially. It's not for you guys, it's for my chess students. Today's date is the 1st. No, it's not the 1st, the 5th. Happy New Year. Our usernames, you probably saying, Coach Morton, it's not important. We know your username is. Come on, man. Well, again, too bad. And this is a good game because, again, and this guy's username is really hard to remember. I'm going to have to try my best real quick. Am I right? Come on. Eldin. Is that, wait, Eldin. We'll give our opponent the respect they deserve. Oops, they're not that high rated, of course. Right, and the result was that I won. Ha ha ha. Not very funny. All right, so here's where the work comes in. And the good thing about the video is that I might actually link this video, as my analysis because it's the exact same thing. to save myself some time later. I am going to write down right here. It did took me a long time to figure out if I wanted long castle here or not. So I guess technically, so there's a couple of ways you could choose your three moves. You could choose it based off of how long you took. I might do that for illustration purposes right here. So move 10, long castle. Okay. And you don't have to do this either. You might decide to do it based on, like I just said, how you feel inside. But if you want to be objective, if you took 2 minutes in a 10-minute game to make a decision, that is a pretty significant decision, right? So I am going to kind of trust that data right there. G4 was another move right here. Yeah, I did took a long time because I wasn't sure about if I want to sacrifice right there. So that's the moment I was like thinking, do I sacrifice right now or not? What move was it again? Can't remember, guys. I'm sorry. It's been a long day. I've been teaching all week. Teaching and coaching chess is not a good combination. It's bad for your health, guys. Save Coach Morton. 37 seconds. 23 seconds. We'll go with this one right here. I think I was just double checking, make sure I wasn't going blunder. That's why it took so long. But we'll check that moment as well. That was the top 3 moments, so we'll just do that real quick. So move 22. Don't forget that, Coach Morton. What move was it, guys? I forgot already. I'm so stupid. What happens when you start talking to yourself? Anyway, so how did I felt? I got the recording. Oh my gosh. Well, hey, let's pretend like we will have the recording to go back and watch essentially. Yeah, so right here, if I remember correctly, and that's the thing too. Like once you're done with the game, can you remember your thought process? This is why at some point do it while it's fresh. I was considering right here bishop to e3 to trade that dark square bishop and castle short. So I was pretty sure about which direction castle, but I thought for a second that playing that a dark square bishop exchange could could help me, but I was not afraid of the bishop trading itself off for my knight on c3 and wrecking my pawn structure. Yeah. So long castle, it wasn't really that big of a deal to me. I think the computer will agree as well, but we'll see in 1 second. That's kind of the point of this process. You want to see after you've done your own analysis, you want to commit your thoughts to paper because that's the most committal way to actually to say, hey, this is what I actually think and not just what I guess. Move 17. Leave me alone notifications. Yeah, I wasn't sure right here about the sacrifice. That's the main thing I want to like talk about real quick. I spent the longest amount of time, 2.5 minutes, deciding if I should proceed with the rook sacrifice, not sacrifice. If I should go for the rook, so the piece exchange. Well, if I should proceed with if I should proceed by being down the exchange after the rook for bishop sack. And I know what I'm talking about too, so I'm not going to write down the exact moves because, well, I'm trying to record and that's going to take too long, folks. But if you want to be exact, of course, rook takes on e6 was the move I think it was called, right? Yep. I'm smart, guys, when I want to be. I thought that with this sack, I had some attacking chances. After some thought, I realized that I had no guarantee of a sustained attack. Therefore, I shouldn't waste any more time or material contemplating that suspicious move. Because again, there's no guarantee I'll checkmate. So just because you see a exchange sacrifice, it does not mean it's going to work out. So you got to actually think about your next couple moves. And I didn't think in that position it will actually work out. So as a result, I simply got more space on the king side and let my opponent make the next move. Side note, I was wary of my of one of my candidate moves. Bishop takes on c7, right? Yep. c7, because I don't really win a pawn and I'm opening more lines of attack against my own king. Yeah, and in that position, guys, as well, just going back here real quick, there's my analysis. Yeah, so bishop takes turn here, and one of the rooks over right here. This is how I lose a lot of my games because I think, well, what's the worst that can happen, right? I just think, I could find some way to survive and I don't need to worry about their counterplay. And I actually do. So because I feel like I don't have much going for me in this position, I gotta be careful if I make these kind of committal captures right here. And plus, with a half open c file, now this pawn on c2 is a lot more tender if they do trade off the bishops right here and then target c3. So I gotta be a little bit careful of that possibility right there, essentially. And then lastly, real quick, this is the hard part, guys, right here. It's just, doing this analysis right here. I traded rooks a move earlier because I saw that I could win one more pawn with this timely queen fork of the king and the black knight. And I do think this tactic was decisive. So it really helped me to have that queen side pawn majority and then get that going. So that was really decisive. And a lot better than trying to go for checkmate. So sometimes, guys, if you're playing chess, the best strategy is not going for checkmate. It's just trying to find yourself a better position, positionally, or in the end game. In that case, so here comes the last part right here. Before we look at the computer, Was the position objectively good for me or bad for me? Uh, for long castles, I think it's neutral. I think I'm not better or worse. I just think that, like, I'll go back there real quick to kind of show you guys real quick, I guess. Move 10. Yeah, I mean, it's not objectively better. I mean, I have this half open f-file right here potentially towards their king. I was trying to utilize, but it didn't really work out the way I wanted to. Um, I got a pretty strong center right here. Not strong, but like a solid center right here as white. Opposite sides castling, and I felt like my opponent didn't really try to attack me on the queen side as fast as they should. So I think it was an okay decision. Could have gone differently, yes, but it didn't. So we're not gonna worry about that right now. Move 17. I am curious to see. So for this move right here, I'm also gonna say that I'm neutral as well because I'm really not sure if that was the best idea right there or not. So we'll see later. I think it was a safe bet because I wasn't going to try and calculate the other options I chose in the game. And maybe bishop takes bishop on e6 after pawn takes rook takes on e6 to win that pawn would have been good. We'll find out in 1 second. And then I do think that I am doing good right here. Not really good. Really good means it's like checkmate on the next move, but win that pawn and then trade queens was a really important decision right there to make. And I guess I should add that part as well too, because I gotta know what I'm talking about right there, essentially. And I do think that tech was decisive because I later accepted a queen trade, and I had a winning queen side pawn majority in the endgame. So that's why I proved decisive after the queen trade. I was surprised my opponent went for that, but we're not gonna talk about that right now, of course. All right, guys, here is the computer analysis. Shall we finally? Actually, I gotta go here though, real quick. Oh, it was right there. Dang it. Whatever. Like and subscribe, guys. You know you guys want to do that. My highest rapid rating, by the way, was 2100. It's been a while. It's been a couple of years. We're not getting anywhere close to that, but it's always good to hope, right? Review. All right, folks. The moment of truth. If you've been watching this long, hopefully, all right. So 88% accuracy right here. And at one point, my opponent did have an advantage, a slight advantage, but it started to creep up from there. And of course, I had a winning advantage from there, of course. I had one brilliant move. That's actually really good. Yep. Way to finish off that game accurately, converting your endgame advantage into a win. Thank you so much. Yes, I am glad that I went for that particular thing right there. Let's start. All right, bishop's opening. All right, doesn't like queen e2. You have a better way of getting the queen off the starting square. All right, so there you go. Thank you. I guess it's because you want to sacrifice right here potentially bring your queen in. So, all right, computer, I do acquiesce, and that's what I meant too. So I went to the wrong square. I was a little bit lazy. I should have really thought about dark square, light square for my queen. Dark square because sacrifices on the square to get into position. On queen e2, this knight controls the two entry points into position on the black side of the board. So I had to be really exact right here about the color square. So it makes sense. Wow, it just skipped over that one part right there. Let's go back real quick. Long castle was not accurate right here, so I didn't like that move. Interesting. So minus 0.74. So we got to put that right here, folks. So now we know. Now we know because the computer saw a way for black to win another pawn. So it's not exactly the best move. It's a little bit of inaccuracy, of course. Let's see what that looks like real quick then. Going back here. Yeah, so that's how they were able to do that right there. Yeah, I was kind of afraid about that move in the game actually, so I'll show you that position in 1 second, I guess. So I didn't voice, I don't think. Let's keep going. Actually, no, I gotta try this real quick. Um, I was thinking about this move right here. Does bishop here work? It's not the best. Right, third time's the charm. Bishop back here. All right, so it really wants me to go here. Duly noted, computer. Duly noted. Now I know where the queen belongs, and that's the thing too. Like in the actual game, I was really thinking about this pressure right here, and I didn't really voice this, but I should have been thinking, my queen belongs right here and not right there. So now I have a reason to put my queen right there. I realized that my queen was misplaced. She was on a light square and not on a dark square, which could have better facilitated a king side attack while also tying my position together. All right, fair point, computer. Now we know it does matter what color square your queen goes to in positions like that. Nice. You go and lose material this way. Let's see the moves. Yeah, I saw that idea right there. So my opponent missed that right then, unfortunately. So let's hit the replay, guys, real quick. I may have drew that arrow in the game, I'm not sure. But yeah, for the opponent missed the opportunity to skewer my queen to my rook. Again, look here, folks. Again, this is why it's so important to put your queen on the right color. Man, now I'm gonna really remember that move right there, queen to d2. Oh my gosh. What was it? G4. All right. Well, that's not the move I'm talking about right there, though. All right, cool. Bishop D3. No, it was pawn takes right here, actually. Yeah, just allow this right here. Not the way to play that game, though. So I got some work to do, of course. All right, so it does like bishop takes on c7. What about g4? G4, you miss an opportunity to capture a free pawn. Yeah, but there's so many pieces on the board, though. So, I mean, is that the move you want me to play? That is a hard pill to swallow. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, yes, I have bishop e5, but I didn't like opening a file towards my king computer. So thank you, but no thanks. What was the move? Sorry, let's go back for a second. Minus 0.43. The computer thought that I could take the c7 pawn with my bishop, and it must think that white is safe, even though this does create a half open c file. I guess it must have been okay there, essentially. All right, we have our last thing, and then we'll wrap up gas as well. So thank you for hanging in there if you've been listening this long. All right, next. All right, we found the best move right here. Shocking. And our great move was that move right there. And it's because, well, and to be fair too, the reason why is because the more pieces you trade in the end game, especially major pieces, in this position again, my bishop's better than their knight because it's just a long range piece. It complements the pawn structure well. And as you saw in the game, I did have a tactic here to win a pawn, which I found that was the best move in the game, ironically enough. Yep. So let me copy this. I think that is very nice to put into the thingy majig. What was the point value? 1.71. Is this going to be a notation right here, folks? Yeah, it's going to be something stupid. Come on now. There you go. 1.71. Yes. All right, so that's the last move right there. I'm pretty sure the rest of the game is pretty self-explanatory. I'll show you guys in 1 second, but I want to just kind of do this part real quick on a scale of 1 to 5. How confident am I to play this variation? This one, where what was this move? The long cast. So I will give this a 3. And same thing goes for this position, a 3 as well. I don't think I'm worse, but I don't think I'm gonna be winning necessarily in that position when I took that pawn c7. And right here, though, I definitely think I can win this game all day long. So I think that's a 4 right there. All right, we'll answer that question on the recording over here. Let's wrap up this game, guys. Yeah, the queen trade was not the best move right here. And then there you go. So our rating was 2,300. And I'm going to copy this over here as well because, hey, we need all the help we can get, of course, right? I'll put this right here. So chess.com coach gave me a 2,300 rating performance. The opening was balanced. You are a cut above your opponent in the middle game, and you outmaneuver them in the end game. Nice. Not bad at all. Cool. So right here, so this lesson right here taught me that if I'm not sure about an attack, then look for a more concrete plan because in a real game of chess, you don't have time to imagine that there's an attack there. And by the way, let's see if that capture would have been good there or not. Let's go back there actually. And also, recognizing that this is a thing too, so putting your piece on good squares from the beginning is really important as well. Was another thing I learned here as well. All right, so drum roll please. Was bishop takes or rook takes a move right here? So suspenseful. Come on now. I got things to do. I don't want to be doing this all evening. Oh my gosh. Come on, computer. All right. It was a miss. Minus 2.23. Wow. That would have been lights out at that point. And if I took with the bishop right here, would it have been any better? Yeah, I figured because, again, my queen and my rook, bishop, and pieces aren't really positioned to attack the king. There's too many black pieces and pawns that can shelter him. And so I think it would have been a mistake. Hey, that would have been decent, better than the last move. But again, I didn't like the fact that my structure was compromised right here. And the fact that they took me really helped me as well, I think. So there you go. All right. It's been a long evening. I hope you guys enjoyed the recording. And you can tell I'm tired. I'm so sorry. That was a horrible outro. All right. You guys take care.